And good morning. We're here. Welcome to the Podlie podcast. This is episode 214. I did clarify that prior to coming on the air
3 times
this morning. Good morning, Jamie. How are you? She has put up an emoji. Whenever she puts up an emoji, we don't see it, but we can describe it. So it's a turquoise waving person, turquoise. All right. So Jamie's up there early. She gets the 3,500 points because we brought those back last.
3,500 points, Jamie. 3,500
to
points.
do absolutely nothing with.
Yeah, they don't mean anything, but you won the points anyway.
That's right.
Hey, good morning, Nicole. Happy Saturday. Yeah.
Morning, Nicole. Look, man. You have us trained. It's almost like
Aaron, I don't get it
Pavlov.
either.
Our special guest is sitting here going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I don't get it either. This is 214
I don't
and I'm
know,
still
Bill.
trying to figure out the joke.
The moment Nicole says hi, it's almost a Pavlovian thing.
Wow. And hey, Jamie's in Nova Scotia. Wow.
Wow, Jamie.
Now
Nova
we're
Scotia.
we're being watched. In
I
Eastern
love
Canada
that
today.
province, Jamie.
We're
Well
interprovincial. Bill,
Wasn't it you?
we're
who
interprovincial now.
introduced at that music club show about bike riding across. What did you say?
Jamie, go figure out that Oak Island mystery for me, will you?
Bike
I
riding
appreciate that.
across.
What bridge was that? Something. I'm like, she's been all over the bike. I can't remember now. What was Nova Scotia to
Nova Scotia to Halifax. I don't,
something
Halifax.
like that. Yeah.
You said
It was
something.
funny. I was trying to say
Yeah.
that this lady rode this
Morning,
this
Amy.
bike to such a great distance, but then when I actually
Oh,
looked at it,
Liz
that-
Pomeroy?
That was when
Stella?
we were
Yeah, the cycler, yeah.
intro.
Stella.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
introducing her like I always do the introduction, right?
Yeah.
The introduction. I'm like, she biked from so and so to so and so, and everybody's laughing at me because it was only across a bridge or something.
All right. We want to introduce quick, and then we'll do our week. We got with us, as we said, a wonderful guest. We've got Ehren Ackerman with us this morning, and Ehren is well. You can tell us what you kind of told us off air. What you call yourself, a paranormal
Enthusiast. Yes, I call myself an enthusiast.
There you go.
Exactly.
and
Rather than it's an enthusiastic.
So then, can I also be a paranormal enthusiast because I'm very enthusiastic about this conversation?
It's rather than.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're sharing mics this morning because I forgot an adapter, so I couldn't put my fourth mic up. So Ehren and I are
Very
sharing.
difficult for Bill to
I already
adapt on a
have
Saturday
it.
Yes,
morning.
I dropped my hedgehog.
Hogging in the hedge.
So normally, Ehren, what we do is we'll get into the show here momentarily with getting into, because I love paranormal as well. But I got to ask Cliff and Paul how their weeks were. So how was your week there, Cliff?
It was bloody good.
It's good.
Yes,
Good week.
and it ended in a very festive fashion.
Yes.
A very foodie fashion.
A foodie
A
fest.
foodie fashion. Yeah. I must admit, I've never been to a lobster fest before, and it was rather good. That's a great place.
It was a good venue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
worked
a
out
good-
well. We
good
had the
venue.
back room to ourselves.
The back room to yourselves. Yeah, and I mean that's the Music Society of South Dakota. That was
our table
That
we
was the
had.
table, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was happy to be a part of that. That was really good. The food is fantastic. So I kind of forgot about the rest of the week because what happens is I showed up there, had some food, had a little bit of drink.
Yeah.
I really have no recollection of the rest of the previous parts of the week. They just weren't as as
engaging as
engaging.
Attacking a whole lobster on your plate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
it's very visceral.
Very
right?
manly. Yeah.
It's rather manly. Yes, and we go like this and
Breaking that.
and that's it.
Yeah. You think
Yeah.
back to the days of the Vikings eating their
That's
big
right.
legs of food. But
Yeah, yeah.
Everything by
Well, I'm
hand.
not sure they cracked. They just ate.
If it was a chicken, leg, it would be like Henry VIII.
Yeah. That'd
Yeah.
be a big chicken leg.
So
maybe
yeah,
a
everything
turkey leg.
before that sort of really paled in comparison.
Yeah.
So let's just go with that. It was
Okay.
an awesome week. Friday was nice.
Paul.
My week was rather weird.
Rather than
Rather than weird. So I got a question for you, Aaron. Can I borrow your cat?
Which one?
No, I'd like to borrow a cat, and I'll tell you why I need to borrow a cat. I have a friggin' bird in my house. Got a patio, patio sliding doors, and I'm downstairs just watching TV, getting ready for work, whatever. And I've always had birds in my chimney because that's what birds do in the summer, not in the winter, but in the summer. And you know there's nests up there, and they're fine and yada yada. But I'm hearing these tweeting.
In
This
your house?
chirping. Well, here's the thing. I'm getting ready for work and I'm hearing this chirping, and I'm first of all, I'm thinking it's chimney, but this is a bloody loud chirp. And I turn around, there is this swallow sitting on my kitchen table, chirping away. So I've got sliding doors. Somehow this bugger got in. It's like that. Like it's an absolute minuscule slant in my door between this and I mean my kids might have opened it or whatever, but it wasn't an open door. I've got a friggin' dead bird in my house.
Oh, he's dead now.
So here's the problem. Tweet, 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 tweet,
How was he
tweet.
tweeting if he was
Hang on,
dead?
tweet, 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 tweet. I got a blanket, right? And I'm getting ready for work. I got to go to work. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Get a blanket. Try and get him. Well, this sucker is fast. Lost him. He flew right by me in my daughter's room. The tweeting stops. I have no idea where this damn bird is in my house. This happened Monday.
Was your daughter's window open?
No, there were no there. The only thing that was open were doors, like bedroom doors, because it flew from my daughter's room to my room, back to my daughter's room, back to my
Probably
room
slammed into
upstairs.
one of the windows trying to get out.
Knocked
and
himself
killed
The
out.
himself.
Kill
friggin'
himself.
chirping stops. So
Yeah.
this is Monday. I've been looking around all over the house for this, and I have no windows. I have no windows open. The patio is closed. I
Wow.
have
No, he probably slammed himself against the
Yeah.
window trying to get out.
100%. But I've checked.
Poor little dude.
I've checked the base of all the windows. I don't know where this damn. I've got a dead friggin' bird in my house.
Wow.
Well, just wait a couple of days. You'll.
Weird. So my week was no, because I don't want the smell to start.
Well, that's
Well,
when
that's how
you'll
you're gonna
find,
find
it.
him.
That's why I need a cat, Aaron. That's why I need a cat. That's why I need a cat.
It's definitely a men's podcast. I'm starting to realize.
Oh.
On this side, right? Like I'm just saying, that's your solution to sniff
Weird.
it out.
Isn't that weird? It's weird, eh? Isn't that weird?
I love it. There
All
we go.
right. Oh, well, enough of that.
Well, Bill,
Yes.
speaking of how was the week, how was your week? my
That was
friend?
good. It was a busy week again, as mentioned. So the place that we went to the Lobster Fest last night, I was just saying I've been there 3 times in the past like week and a half. I was there for lunch, then the Lobster Fest, and at a committee meeting the week before, and now I'm going back there this upcoming week.
You're gonna
for,
need a month fast.
I just don't
Frequent
eat until I
eater
go there.
points.
Yeah, I just go eat till I go there.
The
So,
next bib is free.
Jamie says she has a cat, but you're in Nova Scotia, Jamie, so that's not going to be a lot of help.
Nice,
No, she can bring her dog over.
nice, Nicole.
And do that. Nicole says, I wonder if you were supposed to have a visit from this bird.
Yeah, Polly.
Well, if I was in the bird's living years, it's a paranormal bird now. I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
it's definitely
because it's a
That's a great
paranormal bird
segue.
now. Thank you. I meant that.
Yeah. So
I
of
meant to
course,
do that.
we want to talk all things paranormal here this morning because I'm a
so
big,
not normal though.
para
Normal.
enthusiast
Right.
interest.
So not just normal, but like parallel to normal.
Yeah.
So,
Could be not normal.
Could be non-normal.
Ehren Ackerman, tell me. So you're a paranormal enthusiast. Where did you start? What's your background?
That's a really good question. I grew up in rural Strathcona County.
Yeah.
In a property that my family had built, but had been in the family for about 100 and something years. So we had inherited it from the previous, I guess, generations that were here.
So you immediately know there's ghosts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big one with I just have all sorts of different. I used to have all sorts of different experiences growing up. So it was just something I kind of grew up with. So growing up on the farm, I used to have just random sightings or sounds or experiences that I couldn't really explain. And then over time, I started getting more and more interested in books. And that's kind of what actually sent me down the rabbit hole, I suppose. I got really interested in learning about things that didn't have an explanation because I kind of figured everybody else was looking for the things that did.
Right. James, would you be kind enough to put up Aaron's Ackerman's spelling so that people on the podcast know?
It'd be pretty fun to see everybody try.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Jamie's close, but it's not quite.
And here's how I always. It's Aaron.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I.
Canadian
That's
version,
how I.
that's the way
That's
I-
exactly right. That's how I refer to you, Aaron.
And Jamie says paranormal is fun. So you got interested in it. What made you decide that you were going to now start going out and doing investigations? Like, did you join up with another paranormal team to learn how to do that, or like what made you decide that now I actually want to really get more into this? I want to go hang out in a building that may have some sort of activity and find out if I can see or hear it, or what did you do?
Yeah, fair enough. When I was younger, I really liked photography. So I used to go to abandoned places, and that was something I really liked doing. I'd knock on a farmer's door and go see if I could actually explore an abandoned place, and I'd take photographs and such. But then eventually I wanted to meet other people who had experiences. I wasn't actually as interested in the investigation. Everybody else was really into that because it was on TV and, there was just like all these shows about it.
Yeah.
And I was more interested. I wanted to talk to people. So I started a coffee group. And that's what I actually did was I sent out an email. I looked for people who were interested.
Sorry, I got to stop you right there.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, Ehren. So, to start a coffee group.
Why did
So, I'm
we know
sorry,
this
Bill's
guy?
on a script. I'm
Slower.
sorry. Bill's on a script.
Why didn't we know that he's going to tell
Yeah,
us about the
gee,
coffee?
yeah.
I kind of heard a rumor about this. No.
He's got to follow the script. I'm sorry.
So you were more after the connection relative to it versus the actual.
Exactly. Yeah,
Paranormal
I
experience.
didn't believe, or just wait. The word would be I wanted to hear the stories because I believe there was truth to what everybody was experiencing.
Oh, cool.
I can't validate it. So that was a hard part. I can't go out and replicate a lot of this stuff.
Correct.
But I could collect the stories. So I could definitely talk to people and learn more that way. And that's something I've always just kind of done. So yeah, it did start as a coffee group, and that's what it did. And we used to call it the home of the ever expanding table.
Right.
And it's because we started with 4 of us. And then 3 months later, there was 50 of us. And
Wow.
we did it
Whoa.
every 2 weeks. And I did that for 5 years.
Nice.
I've been waiting all week to ask you this question. And I recognizing that you don't have any, education background or professional, you do have professional background, but education on this. Here's my question that I've been waiting all week to ask you. What's a ghost?
What's a ghost? Well, that's really
And I really mean that. Like, what is a ghost? What are these people chasing after, in your opinion?
I think that's a really good question because, I am the weirdest investigator in the world or enthusiast because I don't 100% believe that everything is a dead person, if that makes sense.
Nope. So you're going to have to keep going.
There you go. So like the traditional belief is that a ghost is some sort of unseen presence or typically a dead person that became a spirit or some form of demon or extra kind of other creature out there. But generally speaking, it's something that only interacts with our realm or our world once in a while. So, or it has an intention behind it. But again, now with the paranormal world the way it is, there's lots of different beliefs and various ideas that there's, things that are not necessarily a presence or some sort of consciousness, or that's where I go into the enthusiasm.
That's what I struggle with
whole...
ghosts, this whole sentience thing,
Mm-hmm.
Ehren. And this is the only thing I struggle with ghosts. Are they sentient? Like, and this is what I've been struggling with because I think I'm a believer, but it's this sentience thing that kind of stops me from going further. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. And I think that's why the paranormal world we say is it's so different. because it's got UFOs, cryptozoology, it's got ghosts, it's got everything. And a lot of the investigations I was on I wouldn't even say that was a ghost. I had things happen that I could not explain. I couldn't tell you that was a dead person that caused that. If that made sense. I never once out of any of my investigations was able to say that. I was able to do things like test mediums or psychics and things like that, where they were able to pull out information from locations or people or things like that I have no clue how they were able to obtain that information. So again, I've got all these, I can verify the data, but I can't necessarily say that this is that.
You've got a few different things up here on the chat board. Nicole says this is amazing. Nicole's asking, how does one get involved in a coffee group? If there's one even still happening, I don't know, and things like that. So for you, Ehren, you've obviously, I'm assuming, investigated all different locations over the years and different types of locations, whether they be warehouses or houses or whatever the case might be. What was it like to go out on your very, very first investigation? Were you scared to death, or were you just into it and hope you find something, or what?
Yeah, my first investigation, I remember that was quite because we just collected, we didn't even have any equipment, so a lot of it we had borrowed, and this was back in the day of high 8 cameras and stuff like that with the Sony handy cams that came with the night shot. So that was basically, we had to find those everywhere, and then we had to pay for the tapes and try to find them all, right? And that was difficult, but we had a location that we knew there were some alleged graves on the property. So that's where we actually went out into the middle of the field and we just started asking questions and practicing our things. And the funniest thing, that was actually what drove me into the whole, there is something here. We were standing out there, and there was just this out behind us in the trees. It was like somebody was going woo. Like we thought somebody was playing a prank on us because like we're like somebody may have seen us come out here or whatever,
With
right?
cameras
And
and everything,
playing
yeah.
around with us, whatever, right? So we went around everywhere looking for it. We couldn't find anything. When we played the tape back, you could hear a woman singing a lullaby. We couldn't hear the woo. So like there was
that's
no
cool.
woo. There was just this lullaby in the distance. It sounded like a woman just singing off in the distance, and it was just very like it was. I get goosebumps every time I think because that's what sent me down. I'm like, okay, there's obviously something here because these two didn't align. You know, it was my experience in real life did not align with what we documented, and that was like
The hills are alive.
Yeah, there's more questions
That's
now. Right?
cool. Hey, you mentioned equipment.
Mhm.
What is it? What equipment does a paranormal enthusiast use, and is it readily available, or do you have to Amazon it?
Yeah, personally, like I am so simple. I do not use anything crazy. I used to, like I
you
used to.
do on the
Spirit
TV show.
Yeah, like the
boxes
TV
and-
shows, like when
Yeah.
by the time I retired from running my group, I had like the CCTV cameras, all the EMF
Yeah.
meters, like everything you could think of, we pretty much had, and I just donated that. But I just travel around with a little EMF detector, flashlight, kind of camera, phone.
Okay, wait. EMF detector.
Yeah, electromagnetic field. And
Okay.
there's two different versions. Like there's the like I worked in the electrical industry, so there's like the ones that electricians use to find
Walls.
wires in the
Yep,
walls,
yep.
right? Like that's the idea. Those are the good ones. And then there's the ghost hunting ones, which are like K2 meters and such. And those are the ones you find online for $50 to $80, and they work too, but they're just not as accurate. That's kind of the
So if using equipment, if you had an infrared sensor, would that pick up ghosts or no?
Based off of all the shows I've seen, you think somebody would have captured one by now,
No,
right?
by now. That's a
the
good
way I
point.
view
That's
it.
a good
With
point.
the millions and
point.
millions of hours of infrared.
Yeah,
film,
no, I
like,
was
you think we would have had it.
I was
right?
just
Like,
curious if,
yeah.
if infrared meters would detect the undead, right? Because I mean, it would detect us, because we're warm human beings. Well, some of us are.
Yeah, like so. If you, so like thermal imaging cameras
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you do detect, but it's surface temperature.
It's surface
generally. So
temperature,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
what
kind of
you're
a different thing.
detecting,
Same thing with
And
the,
fluctuations and
non-contact.
variations within the surface temperature as the air moves, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as detection of an actual
Yeah.
actual being goes, and I think that I think skepticism. Okay, and keep in mind that I'm skeptical, but not in many ways, because of my own experiences. But fact of the matter is, it's that you would think that in the year 2026, or by the time the year 2026 is rolled around, there would be harder evidence, right? Where you could point to it and say, hey, listen, we have this. Okay. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it exists, but we don't know it yet in the Western world, right? I mean, our Western world is very small as it pertains to all things paranormal. We are not prone to actually pursuing, unlike some of us, we're not prone as a society to pursue these things. We're much more materialistic in our thinking. So in terms of that, I think the rest of the world might have something to teach us, which we haven't yet investigated. So I'll go back on my own statement and say we don't have any hard evidence. Maybe we do. We just in the Western world don't know about it yet. Is that a fair statement?
Ehren, sorry.
Oh, hi Wesley, hi Nat.
There you go. Yeah, I saw the comment come up there.
I'm sure all of you people out there, and I'm not going to speak for the two of you, but myself, I want to hear stories. I think we're ready for stories. I want to hear stories.
I want to hear that as well, but I do have a quick question. You and I think, probably had this conversation a long time ago when I first met you, and we started talking about paranormal stuff. And we'll get into this later about how you investigate our local museum out here quite often. But we were talking about watching some of these shows on TV. So all these different ghost shows that are on TV, and I think I was asking you at the point, like, how much of that is reality TV, and how much of it is actually real, because they have all the equipment, but the weird thing is with those shows is on occasion they do catch things for sure, and they will play back tapes of visuals of things maybe going across a hallway or things like that, but a lot of the times they don't, but they're very dramatic and very reality based. So I'm thinking, when I watch those TV investigations, are they anything like that in real life?
And Ehren, if I could just piggyback on that, which one is the most realistic? Because I watch I want to know. I want to watch the most realistic TV. So, in your opinion, which one's the most realistic?
Most realistic. Oh, there you go. Those are all fun. Those are loaded questions. Okay, so I was on a show once, and it disheartened me a lot. So if that makes sense. So like we did capture something happening. We heard a bunch of bangs happening in one of the empty rooms that we were filming in, and it was supposed to be like a special event for Halloween for a TV show. And I had to reshoot my reaction 6 times. so
According to the director.
yeah, so I was not impressed with my own first experience being on television, and that's why I never wanted to do that. Right, that was not what I was in it for, because like I kind of figured the same thing, right? Yeah, you do have to make it entertaining, and like some of us do have a little bit more character than others, right? Like so we can ham it up a bit, but yeah, generally speaking, like I like to be authentic, and like sometimes there are authentic scares and stuff like that, and like those are on a lot of shows. You will find them on almost every show. So I know like Ghost Hunters has had a few of them. They actually bought Myrtle's plantation because of that. So that was like one of the things. Like, so the Ghost Hunters bought the place that they had the most activity. So like that actually happened. But then, yeah, of course they film Halloween specials, like special whatever. Like they're always hamming it up. Same thing with like Ghost Adventures, right? Like the locations they go are great. Right. Super ecstatic, crazy people, right? I really enjoyed when I was hanging around and doing my thing. We were doing Paranormal State. That was PRS. We used to know the team and kind of coincide, but then they had some legal issues down in the States there. So we just kind of, it was what it was. But I mean, like, generally speaking, we find that with a lot of paranormal stuff too, is most of the people I've known that have done it long term end up with some sort of difficulties in their world.
And so then
whoa! You can't just pass that.
I was going to say, I was thinking about that too.
What kind of difficulty?
What are they in padded rooms, or what are you talking about?
If you spend a lot of time looking in the dark, you kind of you get more questions and answers, and you spend a lot less time focusing on the living.
Is that like a Nietzsche thing, where if you spend enough time looking into the abyss looks back?
I think that's the same reason why everybody tells you not to play around with Ouija boards. It's not necessarily you're going to get a problem. It's just some people can become obsessed.
Right.
And that's the problem when you can't let go of it and you start. That's just letting go of real life.
Want to try my Ouija phone?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And so have you yourself though ever had a time when you're on a investigation that you've had that big huge scare where it almost like knocks you on your butt and you go, oh, whoa, I'm not sure I want to be in here?
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. Yeah, because I founded the group, I always made the rule that I wouldn't ask any of my investigators to do something I wouldn't do myself. So like every single experiment or the scariest place on every location, I had to go do first. So that was always my demonstration. Right. There was one with a loud hissing where it came from a closet. So we cleaned the closet out and I went and spent about 45 minutes in there alone. There was one where we did an investigation where we just didn't have to deal with the clients. Cause generally speaking, we only did houses. I didn't really like doing larger locations because there was everybody doing it. But we let the clients just go and we got the house to ourselves and we were allowed to just do whatever we wanted. So we all kind of took our own style and got to try our experiments that we'd always wanted to try. And that night scared the junk out of almost every single one of our investigators. So that was, there was bangs and separations, doors opening. Like it was, again, goosebumps. That was something else. And then we went back to try it again. Nothing happened. Nothing. There's nothing going on. Nothing at all. So I don't know what happened that night.
But how do you rationalize that? How do you rationalize that when ghosts and entities and things happen one night but don't another night? Why is that?
See, and I think that's exactly why we end up getting these weird obsessions about us, because it's exactly, I don't know. The environment was just right that night. It could have been barometric pressure plus electromagnetic field just around, plus weather, wind resistance. Like there's a squintillion things that could have easily contributed to that event, those events that night, right? Like, and then it's like, will that happen again on the annual? Will that be something that only happens when those weather or that, there's so many different metrics to measure that I think that's what each group kind of gets into, is if you have a good diverse group, you can measure various metrics, right? Like, but if you all kind of think the same, you're only measuring your experiences or a few things that we've all measured before, like EMF, right? Like anybody can take an EMF meter and walk around and take measurements. Yep. We used to map it out throughout the night. So we printed off maps of the house and we would take measurements and then we'd stop and then like an hour later, take measurements, see if anything changed kind of thing, right? Like, but I grew up in a scientific house. So I knew some scientific backgrounds and
Yeah.
stuff, so we just
Yeah.
implemented them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And again, though, when you're measuring EMF, that this as you say, there are so many variables and so many potential instances that can actually affect that reading, right? I mean, I come from an electronics background,
Mhm.
and sometimes you can use the most calibrated equipment and find vastly different results in just a few minutes. Right. And that's with material things. We know that they're material things. We're not even investigating the paranormal. It's just material things. And yet it's amazing the differences that you will get in measurements.
Mhm.
Right. I mean, I think we're having a paranormal experience right now. I hear a bunch of tapping.
I hear
I
that
was
as
just
well.
thinking
I
the
hear-
same
I
thing.
hear some knocking.
That's
I heard some
scripted too,
knocking.
friends.
Oh, and I like that they mentioned the Osbournes, because that's another one, Jack Osbourne.
Oh, yeah,
Ozzy
Ozzy's
Osbourne.
son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They did one, and I know there's a few of them.
He's
He's
done quite a
great, eh?
few
He's
paranormal
great, eh?
His partner on that show, I can't remember the name of her right now, but she's also Amy something, if I remember right. She's quite good. She's
And I watch a lot of Josh Gates stuff.
Yep.
And I just think he's a wonderful entertainer, anyways, and a presenter, anyways. But some of his, I can't remember what it's called.
he's got three or four.
He's got three or
Expedition Unknown,
four of
and,
them,
yeah.
right? Fascinating stuff.
Mhm.
Fascinating
And he's
stuff.
willing to do the stuff. You ever see him get all strapped up?
Oh,
and he'll go
he's
down
in like
caves
Stink.
and
Oh
stuff?
yeah, he's in like Stink. Locally, in your opinion, through experience or hearsay, what's the most haunted place locally?
like in Edmonton or Strathcona County or
Edmonton and surrounding area.
Edmonton it's hard to tell because like there's always the statistics that say like, you know, or not statistics, but the stereotypes that would say like Charles Camsell
Yep.
Hospital, right? Like that's the well known. I was born there, so like, and actually oddly enough, a bunch of us investigators from Edmonton were born at the Camsell. I think that's pretty funny.
Funny,
Yeah, like
funny, or however you want to put it. Back in the day, my first job in electronics was on-site electronic service, like fixing monitors and televisions and VCRs and all the wonderful things. And of course, we used to have, you know, the hospital. Do you remember the hospital televisions? The little tiny
Mhm.
televisions.
Yeah.
You're probably too young for it, but the little tiny televisions that used to be on this big, huge stand.
Big
and
stand
blah
on
blah
there.
blah, and that's what people used to watch. But you'd order it if you were in the hospital bed. You would order it. Not every hospital bed had it. Well, I would have to fix those things, right? So I would go in, and if I was going into hospital room, it was awesome because very much like you, I like the connection with people, and I'm always yapping and stuff like that. So I would get to meet the patients while I'm doing the work, and that was fantastic. However, if I had to replace it, couldn't fix it in the moment, had to replace it, there were the spares. And where were the spares? They were down in the basement, in the bowels of these hospitals, such as the Charles Camsell, and so on and so forth. And one time I go down there, and the morgue was down there,
Mhm.
right? And what was that Misericordia? I can't remember one of the hospitals. Can't remember which one exactly, but I went down there to find these things, and somebody tells me it's in the drawer. And I'm like, what drawer? He says, well, there's a wall, he says, and you'll find some drawers there. He says, it's right. And he's telling me on the phone, right? Well, you know, I picked the wrong room and the wrong drawer. So I go in there and I find myself in the morgue, and it's 4:30 in the afternoon in winter, and it's pitch black out, right? And I found this thing, and of course, I kind of got a little bit the heebie-jeebies, right? And I think it was the Camsell. I can't remember now. But anyway, I run out, and it's pitch black out. It's winter. I'm freezing. I already got the heebie-jeebies, and I couldn't find my car. It was the most harrowing thing because
But did you find the monitor?
I did not. I did not. I basically phoned back my office, and they said, we're going to have to do this in the morning. I'm out. Right. And took off. And I come out to the parking lot, and like I said, I couldn't find my car. It was a really strange experience. It was almost like I was being stalked, but that's all in the head. I mean, I wasn't being stalked, but it was like almost like it was, right? It's like I disturbed something that I shouldn't have disturbed, right? So yeah, it was a very, and after that, I'd been again a few times, but it wasn't as freaky. The first time, it was kind of different.
We have a couple of comments here, Aaron. So Nicole jumped in. This was after you said you went to that house, you had all that activity, then you went back and nothing happened. So yeah, she says, or they wanted you to experience it, and then when you return, they don't want to share their energy again. That could have been. Maybe they knew you were
Interesting.
back in the house, and they said, we're not giving these guys anything tonight.
And that goes. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'd mess with me too. I got a sense of humor too. So
And
it's a little bit like,
And it's funny because that comment goes to my question about sentience. It's Nicole said they don't want to share their energy again, and that's where I get confused about ghosts and stuff. It's this whole sentience thing. Are they thinking about
Yeah, their
scaring you?
consciousness.
Do you know what I
right?
mean?
Yeah.
So, and then Laura asks, the question is, have you ever worked with mediums when visiting these paranormal activities?
That was my favorite thing to do. Yeah. Actually, I remember one of the first mediums I actually tested. Like, we used to test them. That's what I really enjoyed doing. So we had the one
To
group.
see if they actually
Yeah,
could do
like,
what they said.
honestly,
Oh,
yeah,
I
we would do
cannot
that
wait
all
for
the time.
this.
One second.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or good morning, ladies. I'm still saying evening.
You're right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the middle of the podcast. That's just the thing,
There we
Aaron.
go.
That's
I
just
like
the
that,
thing,
yeah.
Aaron.
That's the joke we
Continue.
do understand.
Continue. Mediums,
Actually,
working with
you
mediums.
Yeah,
test them to see
so-
if they can actually
yeah.
do what they say they can.
100%. So yeah, we did, and so like eventually my coffee group became two groups. So we did the Edmonton Paranormal Interests Club, which was anybody who was just interested in anything ghosts
Right.
and or anything
Yeah.
really. And then we did PRS, which was I should be able to remember all this, but anyway, it was supposed to be for psychics. So that was kind of the idea. So it was supposed to be for people to try to hone or learn their own psychic or medium abilities together. So like we would have a group of psychics and mediums as well. And I would often, with some of our investigators, take them in a back room, and we'd have like objects. So for
That sounds a
psychometry,
little odd.
I know, right? A little bit, yeah.
Took them in the back.
Took them in the back room, yeah. For a
It's
little
not that
bit,
kind of
you know,
podcast, friends.
You want psychics? I'll
It's
give
not
you
that kind of
psychics.
podcast.
But yeah, we'd do that, and we'd try to see if they could pick up anything from psychometry, or like, do a reading on one of us and see if they were able to get any sort of like some sort of verifiable anything.
Okay, so then what's your verdict? Generally, what's your verdict on mediums?
There was a couple that I actually ended up, so that's how we verified them for our group, was if they passed through all those
All the
tests,
tests.
then we would take them to a client, and that would be or I had a couple that I just kept secret, locations that nobody knew about. They were probably my first couple of actually clients, and I just kind of kept track of them, right? And I would take the psychics out there without telling them where they're going. So I'd jump in my car and I'd be like, let's go, right? And like I'd follow them around my notebook, my video cameras, and sit there and like document what they were picking up and all sorts. And one of the guys who actually ended up being my best man at my first wedding, he hit 10 pages straight on my notebook on one of these
Wow.
locations that only had an LSD number. So I only had
What?
GPS coordinates. I didn't actually have an address for this site. Like it was out in the middle of nowhere. And he hit every single thing on that, like all the way to the
What?
name of the person who had died, how they died there, like what his profession was, history of the property, even the animals that pets had died on there. Like I'd never get goosebumps. See, I get them every now and then. Yeah, it's like that's just I'd never seen anything like
Wow.
it. Like, and so I learned from him. So I actually we became best friends, and I wanted to learn more. So I tried to learn mediumship.
Yeah. Wow.
So then is it, I don't know how to say, is it like a sixth sense?
Yeah, it's very much intuitive kind of. It's just an extra kind of. It's your gut feeling on steroids kind of feeling, right? Like it's
Well,
amazing.
and we have another comment. Just go back there for a second, James. So Nicole, again, she said she would recommend you and your crew check out some of the schools in Edmonton that are over 100 years old.
Agreed.
John A. McDougall School is one that I worked at, and it definitely has activity. Have you done any old schools?
We didn't really do a lot of public locations, but I know John A. McDougall's a good one, and then I know Mikhail's school was always a good one because that was the first brick schoolhouse, and it was also the first legislature grounds, and I think there's a couple other things it was the first of. So that one used to be on the coast.
Which school is that again?
Mackay Ave. So it's
Mackay
right
Ave.
up south of Jasper.
Oh, I know the school. Yeah,
and
yeah.
they've got all
yeah.
the carvings of the
The
names
carvings,
in the
yeah,
back.
yeah, that's
like
right,
that
yeah,
one
okay,
is
yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to having the wood shop downstairs. Or
Yeah,
supposed
and somebody
to be.
mentioned Macaulay too.
Macaulay. Yep, that's
I
the one,
heard either Skona or Old Skona. I can't
Skona.
remember which one.
Skona was supposed to be a homeless person in the basement, if I remember right. The person was supposed to be, I guess, accidentally buried or something in the basement. Homeless guy
Wow.
got in the basement there. That's the rumor anyway. But again, who knows? But
By the way, comments again. Jamie said this is she's fascinated by all of this. Laura says that's so cool, and again, Nicole says, "Wow, super cool." So now, speaking of that, so you do investigations a lot at the Strathcona County Museum. out here, mainly because the Strathcona County Museum, before it became a museum, it was a fire hall. It was the first ever fire hall in Strathcona County. And then it became the RCMP station, and the jail cell is in the back. So the big rumor, and I had an experience at that museum actually. So the big rumor is that there is a guard, which you probably know this story, that worked at that museum, but he fell down the stairs, so he died in the building when it was RCMP. So he died. I'm not exactly sure if he died at the bottom of the stairs. He must have fallen down, hit his head, or whatever happened. So that rumor is, of course, that he's still there, and he still obviously wanted to do his job and never wanted to leave there. And I've heard of things, people getting locked in the jail cell. They go in the jail cell, and all of a sudden the door closes behind them, and then they're in there. Somebody closes the door. Maybe it's the guard. Maybe he thinks you're a prisoner, so he locks you in the cell. But anyway, so that quickly, and because I'd like to get back to hearing what you had. So my experience was we were doing a film actually, and so this was quite a few years back, and I got permission to use the museum because there was used to be an old bedroom set in the museum with bed, and it looked like a very old bedroom. And our film was a mix between reality and then going back in time. So we were using the old bedroom set. So the crew, there was a mirror on the wall which we had to take down because we had to, obviously with cameras and stuff, you can't have that mirror. We couldn't have that mirror up there because it would reflect our cameras. So they took the mirror down and set it nicely down very carefully because it belonged to the museum. So of course we didn't want anything to get broken. So taken down very carefully and set against kind of the wall. So it was out of the way. And so we're planning they're getting everything set and planning the shot and getting all ready. And then out of the blue, the mirror came off the wall down and onto the floor.
Yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
you told me
And
about
we're all
this.
standing there. Okay, who just moved the mirror? Going, nobody touched it. They're all going, I never touched it. I never touched it. And the crew's all backed off and like, what happened? And so that was our experience. And from this point, we still can't explain why the mirror moved it was on the floor, on the wall, over to the floor, like over to here. Just as like somebody said, no.
And was this on the main floor of the
right in the
museum
main,
that I know? Just that
yes,
part there?
yeah, right in the main floor. So in the back corner, like you come in the main doors,
Yeah.
and you kind of turn to I guess that would be your left, and you walk in. There used to be like a bedroom set there,
Right,
which is not there
Yeah,
anymore.
it's not there. Yeah.
But so that was our experience, and everybody backed off and said, okay. Nobody was sure they wanted to continue to shoot the rest of the day because all of a sudden this mirror it was like somebody said, no, we're not going to leave that mirror there. I'm putting it over here. Yeah.
Tell us more stories.
About the museum.
Tell us more stories. Just generally, tell us more stories. Do you do more indoor or interior, exterior?
Interior generally, yeah, it's the easiest for sure. But I mean, like now I just kind of do like I'm on my own. I putter around. I'm more of an enthusiast. I don't really run a group anymore. That was a lot of work and a lot of client stuff.
Yeah.
And then the museum's amazing, so I can always chat to that too. But yeah, I don't know. The museum was. I actually would like to talk about the museum. That's probably a good one because the guard, out of respect for the living relatives, his name's Jim.
And again, I don't know a whole lot of his history.
Yeah, so that's verified. So that actually, he didn't hit his head. He had a heart attack. We don't know if he actually died in the property or if he died on the way.
What year? When was this?
That was the 80s. So it would have been, I don't remember the exact 84, if I remember right, or 82. But yeah, he did. It was a heart attack. He was a guard there. He was left. It was over the winter, so it's actually in December. He was just posted there watching the station while everybody else was out on patrol, and he had a heart attack. And when they came back, they found him. And so he actually had crawled. It wasn't the main cell with the big gate. He actually crawled to the other cell down closer and up onto one of the cots, and that's where they found him.
Oh.
So yeah, but that was actually, oddly enough, when I ran my group, what we did was the museum has always been amazing, which is why I love them. They let us rent the place, and we brought in 50 people so people could just practice ghost hunting. So we set up like all sorts of activities all over the place, and people could try the experiments in different spots. And we set out a bunch of items that they let us like use psychometry testing, and you could test like touch and then feel. And everybody picked up his items. It was like 66 to 70% of people picked up the items specifically to only, and were like, these ones, I don't know why, but it was like, yeah, it's really interesting. So I try to keep quiet what items are his in the museum. So if you do visit, they're still out there. So yeah, you can always try your own psychometry and go out there, and you can tell the museum which ones you think are his. and let them know. And you never know. Like if you're good enough, I'll call you. Just that's the way that works. So, yeah.
Nicole wants to know, have you ever checked out some of the old prisons in Fort Saskatchewan's? For example, ones where they used to do executions.
I do have a couple little stones from underneath the pyre, actually. Yeah, so there you go. That was so yeah, they used to hang people out there. Swift Runner was the first. Swift Runner was the first person ever hung in Alberta, and it's because he ate his family, and that's out in Fort Saskatchewan.
Oh, is that all?
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Just 6 people.
What year ish?
Not a year.
What year ish?
I don't remember the year on that one. I should know that one. I should sharpen.
But we're
my pencil.
talking.
Yeah.
It was one of the. It was the
We're
first,
talking
so.
early 1900s.
And we thought Lobster Fest was
I was
unique
just
and
gonna say,
wonderful.
yeah,
It's like
Lobster
Family
Fest
Fest.
was interesting.
It's like Family Fest.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Actually.
There you
Wow.
go. Yep.
He
Yeah,
ate
that
his
one's a
family.
good one, and I've always interested. Yeah, you can, and you can go. The museum out there is amazing too. They'll talk to you about stuff and everything. Yeah, it's hard to get experiences on like basically bare ground because there's really not a lot to do out there. Like, so you could try and then.
So would you do exterior? Like, would you do cemeteries?
Yeah, like we've tried, but again, you can't really. It's hard because of all the external factors.
There's
Those
so
things
much
to say,
outside
but yeah,
that
like
can
you can get
affect
personal
that, yeah.
experiences. Like we
Sure.
used to do cemetery tours where you just walk
Yeah.
through, and same thing with psychics. You just try to work together and learn and such. But yeah, generally speaking, I find cemeteries. I actually worked at one for 2 years. Pretty calm. Like for the most part, it's one of the more peaceful places. You don't really run into a lot in a lot of cemeteries, unfortunately. Fortunately or fortunately, I don't know what the right way to say
Oh,
that
usually
is.
pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a reason people say rest in peace.
Rest in
They're all resting in
Rest-
peace,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's rather
Nothing
peaceful.
wrong with that.
So James just brought this up about Swift Runner. Do you want to read that there?
Swift Runner butchered and ate his wife and 5 remaining children, given that he resorted to cannibalism so near to food supplies and that he killed and consumed the remains of all those present. It was revealed that Swift Runners was not a case of pure cannibalism as a last resort to avoid starvation, but rather of a man with Wendigo psychosis. What the heck is Wendigo psychosis?
Right.
Straight up there.
Yeah,
Right-
I'm
right
gonna let
above.
the professionals describe that one. Yeah.
So have you heard? Have you
Oh,
heard of? Oh, you've heard of that
Oh,
before. Okay. So Wendigo psychosis. The individual has been killed to prevent cannibalism from resulting. Some Cree folklore recommends treatment by ingestion of fatty animal meats by drinking animal grease. Those treated may sometimes vomit ice as part of the curing process.
There you go.
Wow.
Very interesting.
So I want to jump back to the museum because I know you spent nights in the museum as well. So what type of activity have you run into? And I'm sure it's the same thing. You'll go there and there's times a lot of things happen. Then you'll go there and there's absolutely nothing happening. And is there a comment up there, Cliff?
Oh, no. It's Nicole. She says, Cliff, don't eat your peeps. I'm like, well, what if I'm hungry?
That's funny. Yeah, the museum's always a good one. I like it because it's very performative there. Like if you're asking for stuff and you are doing it the right way, generally speaking, you will get something happen. It depends on what. So I actually investigated that with my crew, and I remember when I was I wrote a manuscript of all the experiences that we know have happened at the museum. So I went back to my old reports from when I investigated the place with my group, and I forgot even some of the stuff that happened on that case. Like every single person on that investigation had stuff happen.
Had something happen.
Yeah, like we had one leave. Like one of our investigators couldn't be there anymore and actually left. And she
Wow.
had never.
And
done
is it
that
always
before.
something different? Like one investigator would hear a whistle,
That's
another
a
one
good
would hear a
question, yeah.
scream, another one would hear knocking.
Kind of, yeah. Generally, yeah. It's. I would say it's hard to tell because I find activity kind of groups. So it's not necessarily like it'll be the same item over and over and over again. But if you're having items fall, and it may be different items, falling items would be the key. So like museum, generally speaking, has a lot of items that move.
That are on shelves. And
Yeah,
things like
hats
that.
come off. Yeah, mirrors come off. You know,
Yeah.
things will fall.
But it
things will
wasn't
move.
falling, though. The mirror actually moved, Bill.
Well,
Yeah.
it was sitting. We had
Like,
taken
yeah.
it off the wall.
Are we
set it
talking
against the
magic
wall,
bullet?
and then
Like,
it
are we
went-
talking going
moved
there
out onto
and then
the
like that?
fence. Like it just kind of went by itself out on
And
the
moved,
floor.
right. So, but
Hey.
see, falling is one thing. To me, it's a different physical mechanism, right? Falling is one thing, moving is a whole nother instance.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah,
Agreed.
when I mean falling, I mean like up and over. Like it's usually like knocked off.
Right.
Like it was an
Right, right.
obvious bang. Like so, like the hat when it came off, it like didn't land down; it landed out.
Out
Right.
and
Yeah,
down.
yeah, like
Yeah,
that
so
was-
Okay.
yeah.
for a
Okay.
wedge,
Yeah.
so
That
it
is
was-
okay.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
wasn't something just accidentally falling over because there was somebody accidentally banged into the table. or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Hat. My
Uh,
wife, I could see that the cash register at the museum. I saw that right away. That's where I was gonna go. She ended up. We were doing a community league meeting there, and it was 8 o'clock something at night, and we'd be all hanging out in the middle of the room getting ready, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden there's a antique cash register over in
There
the.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
And
still
I know
is.
what you're
goes
talking about. Yep.
ka-ching, and opens, and all of us jump because like nobody had been over there the entire night. Like, what was going on? So my wife, being the helpful person she did, runs over there and slams it shut. And then we talked to the museum the next day, and that thing had been locked for years. They'd lost the key, and nobody knows what's in it except for my wife, who now knows she's the only person that has actually seen inside of that thing in
Yeah, 'cause
years.
it's not an electric cash. It's not electric. It's an old one, so it's not electric or anything like that. So
You have to
it's
hit
not that
the-
there would be a
yeah.
power booster or anything that would cause that drawer
Yeah.
to fire
And
open.
it's been jammed for years. That's what it is. The lock, nobody's been able to get in and out of it. Like
Maybe Jim had the key and he just
Must
said,
have,
"Hey,
yeah.
you guys got to check this out."
That's crazy.
Laura says, "Can you bring up what Laura said again, James, if you don't mind?" She said, "I could listen to your I could listen to your stories for hours. I literally could listen to your stories for hours, only because before we renovated our house, I swear there was a spirit in our house. However, since our reno, they don't seem that present. So,
They didn't like the decor, Laura. They did
yeah,
not.
that's right. How do you rationalize that? If you change an environment, then you appease the ghosts."
right? My ADHD is just going so happy with this right now. There's like, yeah, like there's like 1,000 different ways that could have happened. Usually you get the inverse. So when you do construction, generally speaking, stuff kicks up.
I was just
So
yeah,
that's usually, so you actually had a reverse of that, which is interesting.
She
Which,
said she used to have cupboard doors opening and things like that.
yeah, I mean, you may have put something at peace, like that may have been something, maybe whatever was there is just happier now. You may have actually changed the environment enough that the factors required, electromagnetic field, wind resistance, temperature, barometric, all that stuff gets changed. Acoustics even,
Yeah.
right? Like everything gets changed to a point where it lessens or it dampers what's going on. Or it could just be straight up, yeah, exactly, things happier.
that makes sense.
Like that's totally a
There's
thing.
another question there. Nicole asking you, Paul.
Can I ask, let's say you're trying to find something and it gets quote unquote hidden by the house. And when you're not looking for it, it gets quote unquote thrown up so you can find it. Have you experienced this?
That Enoch case, that one I did. That's where, okay, we were in the room and I was changing the tape in the camera, and I looked up and the door to the room opened. And I was like, hello, like what's going on? Like, because I thought one of our investigators or something, right? And we're shouting, nothing, and then the door closed. And we were going, what the like, what was that? Right. And like, so like we took our break and whatever. We were just kind of, like just still trying to figure it out and replicate it and all that. As our break, we just talked to them and we realized one of the investigators had come down to check us, like just find out on us and see, and they didn't see us. So they opened the door, they didn't see us, and we didn't see them. We just saw the door open and they just saw an empty room.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So that's what I say. Like, I don't know about a ghost. I don't know what that is, but that's where that kind of stuff happens. Those glitches in the matrix, like totally.
Yeah.
That's
what it
that
is.
a paranormal thing. That happens all the time. I've run into that a lot. I would say that's probably more likely than the ghosts. Like
That's
that is just some
That's
weird
interesting.
hiccup. Like it's just, yeah, I've seen that a lot. Like I like that. I wish there was an actual word to describe that, but
Actually,
that's-
that honestly, I'm with you. To me, that's more kind of creepy and kind of interesting,
That's weird.
right?
Yeah.
It really is because, yeah, glitch in the matrix is a good word. That's interesting. I'd love to know more about that because that to me kind of encompasses all of it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a paranormal, right? Like it's
Right.
something that like I don't know that was a dead person. I couldn't tell you. Was that a demon from biblical terms? I do
Well,
not
we
know
don't
that.
know.
Right? Like, but
Yeah.
something happened for
Did you-
sure. Like there is definitely something.
Did you try to, I've got you shall not pass.
We did have a person, one of our guys decided he was going to try lighting sage at the beginning of
Oh, yeah?
an investigation,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that pretty put a damper on the beginning, but we didn't get anything done.
Didn't get
Like,
anything
yeah,
done.
I was like, why would you do that at the beginning of the investigation? Like the end, maybe go
Yeah.
for it. But I mean,
So,
like,
I guess another question would be: have you found that is there something in particular that you or your team can do over and above anything else that would kind of manifest reactions more often? Like if you talk, if you burn sage, if you're smell something, would there be more of a reaction? Or if you yelled out, like would something work better than others?
yeah.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms, yes, shrooms, LSD.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Psychosis is always a good one. Yeah, I just want to say,
LSD works every time.
yeah. I find like generally my approach has always been matching energy. So like your energy, it matches whatever that is. So like, when you see the guys coming in all angry and stuff, you're going to get the same reaction you're going to get from a person. So like if it's an aggressive person, it'll be aggressive back. If it's a timid person or like personality, I should say, you're scaring it. So like you just kind of go in like you're talking to another human that's not there and just hope. And that seems to be the best reality. If you're kind, gentle, just kind of trying to find out, more like genuinely curious, you will probably have a way better chance than if you're trying to go in there and make something happen.
I'm going to come in with
So
a
then
2-6 of tequila and a party hat.
So then that's a good question as well. So you talk about an angry spirit of some type. Have you encountered that? Like I've seen sometimes on the TV shows, people getting scratched and poked, and then they look down at their arm, but but they've got all these big scratch marks on their arm, but there's nobody
what
there.
about stigmata?
Like, have you run into an angry type spirit that's done something to you, or maybe some of your other investigators?
Two that I can think of right off the bat. So yeah, there was one where it was driving me nuts because I couldn't figure out why the male father figure in the house was being targeted. I was walking around trying to figure it out, and it was making me so mad because he was actually getting beat up. Like that was kind of
Beat up as in how?
Like I didn't get to see it, but he was physically like had bruises. He was claiming he was getting dragged around. Doors were getting slammed on him. He was like, it was kind of, but none of the other people were really like experiencing it. The kids and mom were seeing it happen, but they weren't getting attacked or targeted or anything like that. And it wasn't until I walked around the house a lot, like I spent a lot of time, that was really making me mad because there was kids involved. And turns out all the locks were on the outside of the doors. And that's where I realized the dad was doing something. Right. And whatever was there was protecting the kids. And if I'd gone in there guns blazing trying to exercise this thing, I would have kicked something out that was probably doing a good thing. It was whatever it was trying to communicate or protect or whatever. And so kids, right? So the police did get involved in that one, and he ended up getting charged. So that was something I actually was a part of as a paranormal investigator that I never would have thought he'd have to have anything to do with, right? And thank goodness they followed up on all our we were ethical and all that stuff, so we definitely did the right thing. And then I got dragged out of bed once. So I was actually, after an investigation, we were sleeping with my wife, and she had her arm over me, and I was getting hot. So I went like this.
This is in your own house.
Yeah. So I was like at an apartment at the time. So I shrugged her arm off just to kind of was getting hot and whatever. And I realized there's no resistance. And I looked over, and she was facing the other way. And all of a sudden, something grabbed my arm and pulled me, and I got actually out of bed, and I woke up with a bruise. Like, so I had a handprint. I have a picture somewhere of I have a handprint of a bruise handprint, I should say, on my arm. And I chased it out of the apartment thinking there was an intruder. Like I thought there was somebody in my house. So I chased it, and I realized it didn't open the door to leave. I was a smoker at the time, so I smoked about 2 packs. And so I was just like, I'm done.
This is in your own place. Your own place.
But it's just one time. It had never, that's what I mean. I'd never had stuff like that ever happen. It just must have been a warning, or I was doing something, or I was curious, or whatever, passing through.
But I always thought that ghosts, entities stuck to a house for a place, for example, the Charles Council has to stay within the walls. Like your house was not otherwise haunted.
No, yeah.
So how did it get?
I don't believe that for
there?
a second, Paulie.
I don't.
Okay, first of all, let me clarify. I'm not exactly the biggest believer in ghosts and goblins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty skeptical. But the fact of the matter is, I think that's myth to say that if you have a ghost that can transverse walls within a house, why can't you transverse
Outside.
walls
I
outside the
agree.
house? I don't think, honestly, if there was such a thing as spirits, I'm assuming there is. I don't know, but if there was such a thing as spirits, I think that is about the most free you're ever going to be.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah.
I'd say the same thing. Like, I mean, generally speaking, like I know there are places that claim to be haunted, right? But I believe that's more just it's like a restaurant. There's the resources there.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Oh,
where all the
yeah,
right
yeah,
things
yeah,
happen
yeah,
that you
yeah,
can
yeah, I see.
interact
And
with.
or
But generally
preference.
Yes.
speaking,
And or preference. I go to certain restaurants because I like it. I stay in places because I like it. I spend more time with people because I like them.
Mhm.
Certain people, right? I mean, et cetera, et cetera. So it could be very well be a preference. This is. I mean, you know, I live here, and I might travel, but I always come back here, right?
Mhm.
Honestly, I think the most free. If you're a spirit, I think you can't get much more freer than that.
Long and McQuaid, when I die, you are in so much trouble.
And I got one last question because we're getting really short on time. But it goes by quick. Do you go into an investigation or anything with the thought that you're going to debunk whatever is happening? Is that
Good
do you,
question.
Do you go in there and think about that? Like, I'm just going to first we'll try and debunk this to make sure that what's happening to this person or these people or whatever is not like maybe it's not real.
No, I don't really go one way or the other. I want a full inventory of it all. So I go in, I want the full person's experience because generally speaking, that will be their truth. And
Right.
there is a lot of reality in that. And then I try to take data and measurements to just also validate or confirm or deny or find a trend, generally speaking. A trend is more important than anything else.
Right.
It's not the one-off. You're trying to find a pattern or a path. But I wouldn't say either are wrong or right. I think there's a very intermittent in the middle space where we just aren't quite there yet.
Kind of the last word to you, Ehren. Are you a believer or are you not after all of this stuff? Wind it up for us.
I am an absolute believer in things happening that we cannot explain.
Correct.
I am not 100% a believer that they are dead people doing these things. I am genuinely just as curious as everybody else what happens when we die.
I think that's a
Very
great,
good explanation.
I think that's a great summary, and I think
Yeah.
I mean I think it's a good way to live about all things, including the paranormal. Yeah, thanks, Ehren. That's
been great. And
it's
our
been fun.
Amazing, Ehren. Thank you.
Our viewers have obviously loved it. William Kirkland's is a very interesting topic and guest.
William
And-
Kirkland, man with the best handle.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for showing up on this wonderful Saturday morning, a nice summer Saturday. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your engagement. And I speak for all four of us this time when I tell you we do not take your time and your attendance for granted. So thank you for being here and engaging with us. It's been fun.
Yeah, and by the way, if you have not subscribed or liked our YouTube channel, go to the Podlie Podcast YouTube channel and do that. Also, click on the notification bell. You know that we're here every Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. But click on that anyway. And by the way, people are thanking you, Ehren, for joining us, which is great. And it has been a blast. We loved having you on.
That
here
was
today.
fascinating, Ehren. Thank you.
And
It's fascinating.
we
We'll
will
have to
have
have you again.
well, yeah, we could probably could have kept going with it for sure. So again, big thank you to James, our producer, and we will be back here next Saturday with episode 215 of the Podlie Podcast. Have a great week, everybody.